Hello, welcome back to the channel. I am the Disc Golf Nerd, and today we're going to take a look at 7 of the best beaded putters on the market. We're going to take a look and talk about some of the defining characteristics, contrast and compare a little bit, but mostly just want to list off 7 really nice, high-quality beaded putters from some major manufacturers out there on the market for you guys to take a look at and check out, look for more information on, and possibly try for your own bag. So let's get into it. Okay. First one we're going to look at is the DGA Steady. This one is made by Discraft. I don't have an actual Discraft branded release in this particular video. I believe the Focus would be the main beaded putter from Discraft, but never one that I had any experience with personally. But the Steady, made by Discraft for DGA, is a really, really nice beaded putter. This one has a little bit more of a shallower profile than some. The bead is a nice kind of average size. It's not too small. It's not giant either. This one is in the Pro Series plastic. This one's got a pretty good feel as well. Almost like a little bit of a textured feel. There's like little flecks in there that give it some texture. I remember enjoying the Steady quite a bit. Very nice neutral thrower. All of these are good neutral flyers for approaches and short tee shots, as well as for your putting. And the Steady is no different. Holds angles really well on approaches and short tees, and a good all-around disc. You know, it could be, all these could also make really good beginner discs as well. If you want to just buy one disc to give to your friend to get them started, putter is always a great option, and these are some really good neutral straight flying putters that'll be friendly for most players. This would be a good one for you to look into, but this particular one feels really nice, and I have a full review on this disc that I'll put in the description below. So the Steady, great disc, one of my favorite DGA molds that I've tested. Moving on, we have the PA3 from Prodigy. This one is a little bit deeper, or feels a touch deeper, but not hugely so. This one has a similar sized bead, but has a little bit more of a squared profile on the front edge here. I have not actually reviewed fully the PA3 yet, so I will be doing that soon. That's why I have these in the inventory. My friend Anthony loaned me a pair of these to test and review, add them to my playlist of almost 300 different molds that are reviewed in there for you guys to check out and learn more about discs, but I've not actually had a chance to test this one before. And it is one of those discs that damn near everybody on Team Prodigy seems to use. If you want to see this thing flying, all you have to do is go watch Gannon Burr or, what's his name, Isaac Robinson throughout this entire, is that his name? I think it's Isaac Robinson. Anyway, the other Prodigy guy who was in the Pro Tour Finals and lost to Ricky at the end there. Him and Gannon both putt with the PA3, and just unbelievable. So there's tons of footage you can watch with them throwing and putting the PA3 very effectively. But very popular disc. Once again, be a great beginner disc, all-around disc. Great putter, great thrower. Good disc for sure. Full review coming soon on that one. Moving on to the one that's probably amongst the most classic. This is the JK Aviar from Innova. This is a Sake Bomb stamp on this one from a tournament a few years ago, but the Beaded Aviar in JK plastic, or also what's most popular is the KC Pro plastic, which is a little bit more slippery, very, very firm, stiff feel. This JK has a little bit more flexibility to it and a little bit more of a tacky grip on the surface of the plastic, and some of them get much softer than this even, as far as I know. There'll be some fluctuation in there, but a Beaded Aviar, whether it's a JK or a KC Pro, are amongst the most classic putters out there. The KC Pro Aviar has been, you know, for a long time getting into disc golf, and the time frame that I did, for a long time, all of the top pros were using KC Aviars, it seemed like, for years there, before the emergence of so many other brands that we now have on the market today, like Prodigy and Westside and DD and all those other brands I'm going to show you some more plastic from here. But the KC Pro Aviar is about as established as it gets as a really solid, all-around, stable putter. Starts out pretty overstable for a putter, I would say, based on my somewhat limited experience with KC Aviars, but they break in nice. They have a long lifespan because of that. The bead on all of these will kind of take some wear. And that's part of the thinking behind a beaded putter, is the bead on the bottom here. This is actually the portion of the disc that, when it gets damaged, starts to change the flight the most. So that's why you can have a disc that you can hit trees straight on with it, and sometimes it really won't change much, but you'll have it, sometimes you'll have a disc that like lands on the concrete and scrapes across the bottom and scuffs up that underside rim, and then it starts to change in flight pretty quickly. So the thinking behind that, as far as I know, with the bead is to put a mass there that can take some of the wear and allow it to have a longer lifespan. So the KC Pro Aviar will continue to fly great as you beat it in, and as that bead, you know, takes some wear. Same with all of these. So these are all from the main Trilogy brands, and this one is also made by Latitude 64, but it's actually a Discmania disc, and this is the Link. This is my favorite Discmania disc by a country mile. Best Discmania disc I've ever had. The only one that's ever made its way into my bag as well, as far as I know. This one's actually very flat to slight puddle top, and what I like about this one, it has a very similar size bead to the other kind of more classic ones, but it has an incredibly rounded outside edge that makes it very, very comfortable feeling in the hand. And the Link in particular is one of my top recommendations for beginner discs, all around throwers, for people that want to learn their angles and learn the basics of disc golf, and just anybody looking for a nice neutral line holding throwing putter that you can throw on a lot of different shot shapes, and it'll just be quite versatile, and also a nice kind of point and shoot putter inside the circle. And then moving on to 3 different discs from the what's called the Trilogy brands, which are all made by Latitude 64 in Sweden. Their main brands in the Trilogy are Latitude 64, of course, Westside Discs, and Dynamic Discs. Now, Dynamic Discs, their flagship putter for years now is the Judge. This one has a tournament stamp on it, but the Judge is somewhere in between the Link and like an Aviar, where the underside has a little bit more of an indentation and it has that nice kind of classic sized bead to it, but it's a little bit more rounded on the outside edge than the Aviar is as well, and it feels a touch more low profile. And I also haven't actually done the measurements or looked up the specs or anything, but I always feel like the Judge feels a little bit smaller diameter to me. When it first hit the market, it reminded me of another disc that should be on this list, but I don't have one to show you, which is the Gateway Wizard classic beaded putter. That would absolutely be included in this if I had one here, but I'll just give it a shout out now. Gateway Wizard, awesome disc as well. And the Judge has always kind of reminded me of the Wizard, to be honest. And great disc. It's been around for a long time now, the Judge. Judge is a little bit more stable, typically, fresh off the shelf in my experience as a putter. It has a little bit more of a fade to it. But another great all-around workhorse disc. Moving on to Westside Discs, previously reviewed on the channel, I have the Westside Discs Crown. This one's in BT soft plastic, and this one also has a little bit of a puddle top, closer to like a Yeti Pro Aviar. Has a little bit of an indented top there, which I like. Always kind of feels nice for my thumb to have a little bit of an indentation to dip down a little bit for my putting. The Crown's a really great disc as well. Very neutral flyer, very average size bead. This one looks quite a bit, to my eye, like the JK Pro Aviar, just maybe a touch shallower, just a little bit. But Crown, also great disc. Kind of underrated. You don't hear a lot about the Crown, or I don't at least, and I think it's a solid flyer. And last but not least, my current main putter, which is weird. I've never actually used a beaded putter before, but I got a pair of these and I started testing them. I can't deny they're just working really well. The Latitude 64 Dagger. This is the Ricky Wysocki Zero Hard version of the disc, which is a very firm plastic but has a good kind of velvety, tacky grip on the surface of it. The defining characteristic of the Dagger is how deep it is, and it's just large. Feels like a bigger diameter. It's deeper. It's got a really big mass kind of chunky rim, right? So I have big hands, and the way it kind of like fills into my hand like that kind of takes some of the guesswork away from my grip, where it just kind of fills up my hand, and I just tuck it in and it's just working really well. Very, very slow, stable flight to this thing. It spins slow. It looks visually very slow in the air, but really, really effective disc. And once again, I don't have a lot or any throwing footage on this disc yet to show you in this video. All you gotta do is go watch the best player in the world, Ricky Wysocki. You see him draining putts from everywhere with the Dagger. And very similar disc to this in the Innova lineup. If you wanted to go more that route, you like Innova's plastic better or whatever the case might be, you can get the Whale, which is another large, deep dish beaded putter like the Dagger. Those are 7 awesome beaded putters, some of the best on the market. And that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these. I should have reviews for a number of these discs in the description below, as well as almost 300 others here on the channel in my playlist, so definitely go check that out if you're looking for more information about any of these discs. Thank you very much to my main sponsor, Upper Park Disc Golf. You can use my code DiscGolfNerd10 to get 10% off anything you need from Upper Park. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you very soon. Cheers.